Hello my friends. Here I'm glassing the Kayak Hull. First thing that you do is lay out the fiberglass across the hull of the kayak, and then you take a soft bristle brush, a wide one preferably, and smooth out any of the wrinkles. Don't use your hand to do this because the hand will snag some of the fiber and give you a distortion in the finish of the glass. Trim the fiberglass over the edge of the parting line. Leave an overhang. I left about a 4-inch overhang. If you leave too short, a problem that you'll run into is when your spatula makes contact with the edge of the glass, it'll pick up some of the loose fibers, and then those fibers will be transferred up onto the hull, and it can give you lumps in the finish of the glass. If you leave the glass too long, then it's just going to get in the way. So I would suggest around 4 to 6 inches of an overhang. The excess glass that was removed can be used for patchwork later. What I did was cut some of the excess on a diagonal and used diagonal strips, probably about 4 to 6 inches wide, over the ends of the kayak. After I let the epoxy cure overnight, I applied these pieces on the bow and the stern, and these would be for abrasion. And being cut on an angle allows you to form that glass around the rounded part of the nose on both fore and aft, and it will give you a smoother, tighter fit that way. You can see that I'm using a spatula to smooth the epoxy onto the glass. Don't try to work the epoxy into the glass. Drag the epoxy across the glass. Let the capillary action of the epoxy have time to pull itself into the fibers. By doing that, you will have less bubbles underneath of the glass, less trap bubbles. The capillary action allows the air to weep out as the glass is sucking into the fibers. I'm working with small amounts of epoxy in the mixing cup. I'm using about a half of a mixing cup full of epoxy. This allows me to be able to consume or use all the epoxy that's in the cup. If the epoxy sits too long in a small container, it'll start heating up and it can set up on you while it's still in the cup. I prefer using an epoxy that has the 2-to-1 mixing ratio, 2 parts epoxy to 1 part hardener. This allows me to get a more accurate mix compared to the West system that requires a 4-to-1 mixing ratio. After the glass is completely wetted down, go across the entire surface of the kayak hull with your spatula, looking for any puddles that may be sitting there. What you need to do is smooth all the epoxy out, make it uniform across the entire area of the glass. And then when you finish doing that, take a foam roller and go across the entire surface of the glass once with the roller. This process took approximately 1 hour to do. In the morning, when the glass is set up but still flexible, trim it to the edges of the kayak. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.